Good morning, everybody. Looks like we have a small crew today. Both Charlie DeSalle and AP are not going to be able to join us this morning. So it looks like I'll be providing your update for the week, if that's okay. Really some great progress is being made. And if I pause for a moment, forgive me, because I'm also trying to make sure that everybody gets admitted in the meantime. So our progress report, they repaired the intersection of Salem and Howard. You'll remember there was a small crack that needed repaired. They've paved the road on Ashland from First Street to Howard. Remember, that's just the first phase. I always get excited when you see all the road removed, but then you got to remember there's a process that follows that. And so they have paved the road between First Street and Howard on Ashland. And then of course they removed the rest of the road on Ashland, and that's the part that I think goes the fastest, is the road removal. The rest of it takes a little bit of time. You'll notice that the intersection at Howard and B Street is still open. That will likely get shut down to the public the week of August 1st, which means next Monday. Hopefully it'll be a short shutdown and then they can reopen the intersections, but they will have to do some water main connections at that time. They did open Howard to Ashland. So, I'm hoping that the traffic is flowing nicely there. People have caught on to the turnaround and the necessary operations there. They did pavement markings on Buxton on the south side of Salem. So that'd be going the south to, I'm going to say the post office area. So clear to Highway 92 from Salem. And then they also installed pavement markings on the Funeros parking lot. So that was all done last week. This week, they're continuing their work on the stormwater installation, and that's going to go between First and Howard. They're working on the water main installation on Ashland between B Street and Buxton. That has taken a little bit of extra planning. The construction crew and city officials had to hammer out yesterday a plan where they're going to need to lower the water main a bit on Ashland between Howard and B Street in certain sections. And so I think they've got that plan figured out and they'll be moving forward. So you'll see that happen. And then you'll also notice that the paving on Ashland between First and Howard will continue. And I have to remind myself every time that there's a process. So, once the road is paved, then the replacement process happens. So they'll do curbs, then they do the roads, then they do the pavers, then they do the sidewalks. So I have to remind myself that that's the process that they follow on every single phase of the project. Next week, August 2nd, or I guess it's August 1st is Monday, they're going to be putting pavers in on Ashland between First and Howard and following the rest of that process that I talked about earlier. So pavers, then sidewalks. Storm sewer works on Ashland between Buxton and B Street will continue. They're going to shut down the intersection at B Street and Ashland, as I mentioned before. That is so that they can do the connections that they need. Hopefully that will be a short time connection. There may be some left turning that's available, but it won't be where they can go through on B Street. So that'll be happening August 1st that week. And then water main work on Ashland between Buxton and B Street. That will include the intersection of B and Ashland. So again, the temporary closure. Let's see, future, they're going to continue the mainline work on Ashland. That's probably, some of the most time-consuming work that happens. Installation of the subdrain and rock chambers on Ashland between Howard and B Street, and then road paving on Ashland between Howard and B. They'll follow the process that I mentioned earlier, the replacement of curbs, roads, pavers, then sidewalks on Ashland. So it won't be next week. I call that future because they've got all these other things that have to occur before they'll be able to continue that path to finish up the road. So, but it's moving along nicely. That's the great news. And other than that, I don't know if, I don't think Tanner has joined yet. Tanner is with the construction project. He's not here. I didn't know if there's anything else that he had to add, but it's a pretty thorough report that you'll be getting. Does anybody have any questions or comments? I'm going to look in the chat really quickly here. It doesn't look like we have anybody in the chat box. One thing I should mention that there will continue to be some shaking on the corner there in the intersection of, I'm going to say Buxton and Ashland, as they continue to do some of that storm water main work, maybe another day or two next week. So I know that Local Vein had asked about that. Hopefully, once they get that process done, that should end for everyone, and they'll move on with all the rest of the process. So that's one thing I'll add that we had received a question on yesterday. If you have any comments or questions, you'll need to take yourself off mute. All right, well, if there's no comments or questions, you get the weekly report. Feel free to reach out to Charlie when he gets back next week. Obviously, Tanner Nielsen and Brian Dozer are the construction contacts, and I send those to you every week. And then I'll be sending this Zoom link as soon as I receive it. I'll send it out with the report. So everyone have a nice week, and looking forward to the balloons this weekend and the fair. Take care.